Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I am very happy that you are here with me today for this video as we look into what your soul needs to know. Please know this video is timeless, so whenever you have found it and clicked on it, it is meant for you at that point in your journey. Through the reading, if there's anything that does not connect with you, please feel free to let that go. And if there is information that you receive, that it resonates with you, I would encourage you to continue to process that information even after the video is completed. Before we get started, I would encourage you to take a few deep breaths. And as you inhale and exhale, focus on letting go anything that may be heavy on your mind so that you could hear from the video, from the reading today. As you inhale and exhale, let go of any tension, tightness, stress that you may feel throughout your body or in a particular area of your body. And as you're breathing, you can ask Source or Higher Power, Universe, if there are any symbols or signs for you to see. And also, if you presented a question prior to the video, that you may be able to receive the information. And let's get started. So I'm using a variety of decks today. If you're interested in any of them, the information is in the description box below, and you can use the links that will take you to the cards. Also, before we get started, when we think of our soul, we're thinking of that deepest part of our being, the deepest part of our heart and our mind. So with this information, it may be needed for us to dive a little bit deeper than just the surface thoughts and ideas. So just keep that in mind as we begin the reading. We're going to start with our tarot cards. First card we have is Four of Swords. Knight of Swords, the Devil for Major Arcana, the Knight of Cups, two Knights so far in the reading, and the Magician. Wow. Two Knights and two Major Arcanas in the reading from the tarot cards. So when we think of the Four of Swords, it is definitely a gentleman or an individual who is resting. You can see the field of, it looks like maybe poppies. I've also seen roses, daffodils in different tarot decks. And you can see that he is calm. He has his hand over his heart, his chest. He's releasing anything that may be heavy. So when we think of this card, it could be encouraging you that if you are stressed, if you are on the go all the time, you're running out of energy, your health may be coming into play, frequent colds or frequent viruses. This card could be indicating that your soul is really trying to reach you to say it's time to rest. It's time to have a moment of calm. It's time to allow your body to recover from any illnesses. Maybe you don't have any illnesses, but your mind is just always racing, always thinking, always on the go, always thinking of solutions. This card can indicate that it is a time to rest in your mind as well, to allow your mind to have clarity through that and just the time to kind of recover its focus and its purpose. Also with this card, I think of with the Four of Swords surrounding it, if you need friends or family members, a partner that you're with, to help you find time for that, maybe they need to take on a little bit more for you to just have a period of time. I think of the Four of Swords kind of guiding the way. When you look at the direction, they're kind of showing that there needs to be a little bit of a protection per se, a little bit of boundaries for you so that you can have that time. Maybe it's that you delegate more if you are in that position at work to delegate more. It could be that you need to do that so that you can have just a little bit of time to yourself as well. When we look at the Knight of Swords, you can definitely see this is a card of action. He is off on a mission to deliver a message, to protect, to possibly go to war. He has his sword in the ready position, focused. So when I think of the soul, what I'm receiving with this card is there could be a need for you to concentrate and focus more. Maybe you have a lot of distractions in your life right now that are getting in the way of you fulfilling your purpose, finishing your goals, meeting your goals, and maybe even developing goals or the next step in what you need to do at this point in your journey. This is definitely a card you saw it in the Knight. He is forward moving. He is focused. He knows where he needs to go. So this card definitely could be encouraging you for that. It also, what I'm receiving is there's solutions available. Maybe you are wondering where to find help or where to find assistance. If it's beyond, your friends, your circle of family, there's plenty of resources out there through the internet that you can search as well. If you need resources, there are churches, synagogues, mosques, temples, so forth. Whatever that, if you practice faith, you can also go to those as well. But there's solutions available. You can see that the Knight already knows his mission. He already knows what he needs to do. He has that solution. So it's definitely coming through for you to seek that. Your soul wants you to know that so that there can be a sense of calm, a sense of direction, a sense of balance as well. When I see the sword too, also in that ready position, I'm also receiving to be on your guard. If you are walking through on your journey right now, some difficult times, there's things that are unknown, you're unsure of. This card here I'm receiving, definitely just be aware, be on guard. Don't jump in blindly. Be aware of what is occurring around you, what decisions are being made. What I'm receiving as well is people's character. Look at their character, not just their words. This is definitely the Knight of Swords is an action card, as we've said. So look at their character and look at their actions. And if it doesn't match their words, then this card is definitely calling for caution as well. Next, we have the Devil. Major Arcana. So with the Devil, it's often related to vanity, pride, really just consuming our passions, maybe in an imbalanced way. So with this card, I definitely see that he is kind of really focused on that flower. He's wanting something to come from it. He's seeking that. You can see the fire and flames behind him as well. So this card, the Devil, I'm sensing, is there a need to assess your level of ego. And what I mean by that is pride. And there's nothing wrong with having pride within ourselves, our skills, our abilities, but it needs to be balanced. Are we tripping over like with the devil? Are we consuming? Are we allowing our pride to boast our ego to the level that it needs to be kind of checked? It needs to be drawn back in and looked at and balanced. Vanity as well. Are you someone who is focused only on the material, is focused only on the outward? With that, on the flip side of the devil, there is more to our being than the outside and the name brands and what we drive and where we live. There is our inner. When we speak of our soul, there's our soul. There's our life purpose. There is our ability to help those around us. So I'm definitely sensing that piece of vanity. Are you hyper focused on that? Has that been your main goal up to this point in your journey? And this card's here to remind us that we have to be careful because things can burn. You know, I think what I'm receiving is that Trojan horse. You know, when you don't see it, there could be that, you know, quote, enemy or situation that comes and burns those walls down. And if that is only your focus, then what do you have left? If we haven't taken the time to really work on ourselves, build our character, and be true and authentic when everything else around us burns, what is there to show? So that piece is very strongly coming through. Also, speaking of our soul, what I'm receiving is with that flames and the fire and a bunch of reds and oranges that are coming through. Are you having that inner conflict, that inner struggle where it's just back and forth on the inside? It may not be presentable on the outside. People may not know, but is there something within you? When I think of the fire and I see the horns that the fire is making at the top, is there something that truly just needs to be cleansed, that needs to be uprooted on the inside within your soul? When I think of spirit, that's kind of the next level up or outward. That's kind of our daily being in and out, you know, of our lives, work, home, things like that. But when we go deeper into our soul, is there something, maybe past trauma, current trauma, past maybe you participating in something where you're carrying guilt and shame. Maybe it's a love-hate relationship for yourself. I'm just sensing that this card, right, especially right beside the Knight, there's a call to action. There is a call to deal with that. And again, if you aren't sure where to turn, there are many resources online. You can even narrow it down to directly in your neighborhood or right outside that neighborhood as well. Next, we have the Knight of Cups and another Knight. When we think of knights in and of themselves, they are action, they're protection, strength, sense of exploring and adventure. So interesting too that they surround the devil. So again, kind of calling, friends, what is it that needs to be addressed and looked at here with that card? So with the Knight of Cups, it's definitely one of communication and negotiation as well. You can see that he is kind of coming with the chalice, the silver chalice. His horse isn't racing like the Knight of Swords. It's kind of coming to talk, peace, if you will, in that reference. So maybe there is a need for communication. Your soul is calling you to step outside yourself, to pursue your abilities that may be calling you to speak or share or come alongside someone and say, I can help, I'm here, I've been through that. Maybe it is with that negotiation piece. If you are in a legal situation, that this card could be calling you to find common ground, to find where both sides can meet in the middle and negotiate. It could just be simply in a relationship, whether it's romantic or platonic, work, where there needs to be negotiation. There needs to be a common ground, that mutual respect, that mutual discussion, not just one person dominating the conversation or dominating the negotiations, but both parties kind of willing and coming. And I sense too what's coming through this card as he holds out the silver chalice, a sense of humbleness. Our pride easily, going back to that ego, our pride easily can be inflated. And it's often bruised easily when that occurs. So what I'm receiving here is definitely within our souls, that sense of humbleness. And it's not a sign of weakness, friends. It's honestly a sign of strength. When we're able to step out of our own way, if you want to look at it that way, and come to the table, even if we don't fully agree, but come to the table and say, okay, I'm willing to listen, I'm willing to hear. And then ask that individual, is it reciprocated? Do you feel the same? And if that individual you sense genuinely says yes, then you're ready to talk. Then you're ready to negotiate and really find that common ground and step out of our own way and put our ego and pride aside. This card as well, coming kind of separate, can also mean romance. So you can kind of see he's coming, and you picture what you want in his hand. Flowers, a gift, a vacation, things like that. So it could also be a card of that can indicate romance or a need for romance. So maybe you are one that is in the position, to provide that in your relationship at this time. Maybe you know exactly what your partner likes and enjoys, and this card is encouraging you that could not only help your soul, because when we give, it gives joy. It brings joy to ourselves, happiness to ourselves when we genuinely give. Let me phrase that. Not just to give, because then that's just surface, and that doesn't have that deeper connection. So when I reference this, if you are in that situation, to do activities or provide that time. Maybe your partner just enjoys time, putting on pajamas and popping popcorn and watching a movie, or maybe it is more of a fine dining. This card could be encouraging you that for your soul, for your relationship, for your partner, that this would be a benefit to occur. And last in our tarot cards, not last for our reading, but we have the Magician. So with the Magician, it's definitely a card in the tarot that's making things happen. Creativity, insight, intuition, knowledge. You could see that by the wheel that's at the top. The swords are there as well for that sense of action, protection, justice. So when the Magician, the tarot, it's making things happen. So with this card, your soul has, your being has skills and abilities. So what skills and abilities are you not fully utilizing? Are you maybe resistant to use because it might be calling you to step outside your shell, step out of your comfort zone? So the Magician here is saying, when we are doing our purpose, when we are fulfilling our life's purpose, that brings joy, that brings happiness, that brings contentment. When we give of ourselves, also within balance, friends, because there is that need to take care of ourselves too. But when we give of ourselves to others, when we see a need and fill a need, that brings peace and harmony to our soul. So I'm really sensing with this action with the wheel that, moves, it's in motion. Are there skills and abilities that you need to set in motion? And if you already are, kudos. And if you already are, then continue doing that. And if you are using your skills and maybe you aren't sure, you're doubting, you aren't sure if this is how you should be using your abilities, this card here is saying it's okay to pause and reflect on that. It's okay to seek and reflect and make sure that this is what you are to be doing with your skills and abilities at this time. Also, that piece of walking without fear and doubt is coming through as well. There's the two swords and they're crossed. You know, swords, again, that protection, that action. You have support from, you know, your higher power, source, universe, angels, whatever it is you connect with. So walking without fear, walking without doubt, being assured of what you're doing when you use those skills and abilities you've been gifted with. Also, I think here the magician is in motion, is in action, but he also has that balance. So I'm sensing don't waste your energy. So when you're self-reflecting, and if you receive that this you've served your purpose per se in this area, in this situation with your skills and abilities, don't continue to just spin your wheels. I'm sensing don't waste your energy in that situation. You've done what you were meant to do at that time, at that point, and now see where your skills and abilities will take you next. Next, I use the Wisdom of the Trees Oracle. And our first card is Banyan. Beautiful card. You can see that the roots actually are up top. And this tree here actually grows its roots forward from the bottom up, and then they connect over the top to gain that canopy, that security and safety. So when I read the guidebook that is with this oracle deck, it speaks of an anchor. Maybe it is that you need to connect with somebody. When you think of the roots, you can see they're all waving, they're all interconnecting. So maybe your soul is telling you, if you're questioning whether you should reach out and connect or sit with or talk with someone, this card here is definitely indicating that that is something to consider. That when we connect with others in a healthy way, it does feed our soul. It does give our soul that sense of energy and contentment. Also, when I looked at this card as well, maybe someone needs your support when those roots, you know, connect and provide that shade up top. Maybe you are available to provide that assistance to someone, kind of going back to the Knight of Swords. Also, I believe in the Devil, we spoke of it, that you've been through something. When we put our ego and our humbleness aside and we come alongside someone and say, I've been through this, I can help you. Are you willing to have me support you through this? Also with this card, along the same light of connection and relationships, is there a need to let something go? Do you fear letting something or someone go because you fear that there will be a break, whether it's in your heart, whether it's aspects of your mind? I think of roots as well. Even if they're broken and they're still rooted in the tree, they can regrow. They can stretch again. They can connect again. They will begin to intertwine again with other shoots and root systems. So if you are fearing letting go of something, or you know it's time to move on, the banyan is here to say, and it looks like such a strong tree to me as well, that it's okay. You will connect again. And it has that blue color around it when I'm thinking of the chakra, is that our throat chakra, and it is of speaking. So it could be time if that is resonating with you. Next we have holly. And what I found interesting in the guidebook with this one, and I think I had learned it along the way, but I had forgotten it, but with holly, it bears flowers as well as poisonous berries. So when I think of that, is there a situation, kind of going back to the banyan, that you need to step out of that may not be for your best good right now, for your higher good? And on the other side of that will be those flowers, will be newness, will be a new beginning when you do so. There may be uncomfortableness, there may be pain if it is breaking of a relationship, but when we continue to move through it, what's really coming through is the light behind that candle. There is growth for us. There is newness with the, when I think of the flowers that come through the holly as well. And in the guidebook, it spoke of holly representing honesty as well. So is interesting that it's right by the banyan, but is there a need for honesty? Is there a need for you to, thinking of that blue chakra, for you to speak your truth so that there can be healing or beauty or a new beginning? It doesn't always have to be a break, my friends. And when I speak of relationship, romantic, platonic, or work, it doesn't necessarily have to mean an ending. It could be that in speaking truth, in providing information, if someone is asking you a question, that there can be growth and beauty, and the poison can be plucked out of the situation. And next we have cherry. I think of the cherry blossoms in Washington, D.C. Beautiful too. And the guidebook, and I use the guidebook on these, friends, because they have deeper meaning. So when I speak of that, please know I did pull it out for this oracle because I receive as well, but because they have deeper meaning, I wanted to be able to share that with you as well. So with the cherry in the guidebook, what came through is to concentrate on the beauty of life. Breathe it in. Kind of going back to the Four of Swords. Are we just action-based, going, spreading ourselves then where we can't stop and enjoy nature? Breathe in life, breathe in the air, and really stop, as the saying goes, and smell the roses. Also, what came through on this one is, like when I think of the flowers of the holly and the cherry, is as they bloom, they open, they receive the sun, they receive the rain, the moon at night. So are you open to receiving? Is your soul calling out to you? And you'll know the situation that it is, if this is resonating, for you to open your heart, open your mind, be willing to receive. Have you shut yourself off? Have you shut down due to past pain, past difficulty, current difficulty? These cards, especially with the holly and the cherry and those aspects that came through, is be open to receive. Your soul is calling you to do that, to allow yourself to take in the beauty of life, to maybe what I'm hearing is reset. Maybe you just need to reset. You need to go back to the Four of Swords and take time for you. It's okay, friends, to have moments of self-care. We can't continue to go on and on and on without brief moments. And you might be able to say, well, I can do it. Okay, maybe you can, but are there moments where you sit? Maybe you're on a plane. Maybe you're sitting in traffic. I consider those moments of kind of just resting our body. So what I am receiving as well is that piece to consider, supporting that Four of Swords of a moment of self-care. And then the butterfly affirmations, and I'll show the back of the cards first because there are just beautiful butterflies on them. So with this butterfly, it says, today everything is today everything is unfolding perfectly according to a greater plan. Wow, friends. So speaking of our skills and our abilities and trusting in our inner strength, our inner power. So today everything is unfolding perfectly according to a greater plan. So maybe going back to that fear and that doubt with the Magician, walking forward without fear and without doubt as best as we can, knowing that there is a greater plan, knowing that your source, higher power, guides, angels, the universe are there to support you. So walking forward, knowing there is a plan. Then our next one, another beautiful butterfly. These have hues of those yellows and browns. The first one had red and purple. Really speaking, really a lot of the colors of our chakra. Again, going to that balance. When I see repeated cards that have a variety of the hues of the chakra back to back, that really comes through for me as a balancing of an area of our life. So this card says, I am a unique child of the universe, perfectly me, exactly as I am meant to be. Interesting, because it's close to, if I, leave it where it is, it's close to that devil piece. So going back to that vanity and that ego piece, the pride piece, what I'm hearing is, are you able to strip those things away, in a sense, and look at yourself and ask, am I who I am meant to be at this point in my journey? Because the universe and your soul are saying, you are unique, you are beautiful, and you can be exactly as you're meant to be. And this is speaking again, friends, to that pride and the vanity and the ego. If that isn't where or who it's speaking to, then this card as well is saying, you are unique. We all are unique. We all are perfect. And we have the power within us to be who we are meant to be. And then our last card, beautiful pinks and reds through that one. It is safe for me to explore unknown worlds and try new things. We were just saying that, friends, putting aside the fear and the doubt, and it pretty much goes right under the Magician, that message, looking into the beauty of life and really being able to receive that. Knowing that we have guides and universe and a source that will support us, that, the canopy of the banyan, that security, going back to the Four of Swords with the swords around the individual, knowing that we can explore new things, new adventures, new projects, even new relationships and friendships, that it's safe for me to do that and try new things. So when we look at the suits that are in our reading today, we have 2 swords, and that's definitely that communication piece, the blue chakra, speaking, connecting. It can be power, kind of going back to our inner strength, logic, yes, making decisions, but making sure they're wise decisions, making sure we know what our plan is, that we look at possible outcomes and look to see if this is for our best good at that time. And it can mean change as well. So that new adventure, exploring, taking on a new project. And then also, we had kind of spoken about it at the beginning, are the 2 knights, which are, you know, exploring in strength and protection as well. And the 2 major arcanas, and just 2 out of 5 of the tarot were major arcanas. So again, when I see major arcanas and there's not a large spread of tarot that came through, it's definitely calling attention to what was spoken and said and the signs and symbols that may have come through the cards for you in those major arcanas. I hope this information was helpful to you, friends. As always, if there is information that did not connect, feel free to let that go. If there was information that resonated with you, I would encourage you, no matter how difficult it was to hear, but continue to process it. Don't just initially reject it. Allow your body, your soul in this reading to hear it and receive it. And it's okay if it takes a little bit of time to process it. We don't have to have the answers right away. But I would encourage you, if it does resonate, to continue to process through that. As always, friends, love and light to you.